Sports podcast.
Welcome to the All Sports Podcast with me, Matt, and today, Joel. How are you, mate?
Hey Matt, all good mate, how are you?
Really good, thanks. And James, how are you?
All good, been a while, happy to be back.
Good to have you. And Femi,
All good, mate.
over to F1 then.
Quite a lot happened.
Quite a lot happened in the last 5 laps of the race. Nothing happened in the race, and it was as expected, pretty much in qualifying. And then, as you'd expect with Barcelona and Bahrain, the test tracks that everyone knows inside out, it is quite processional. And then Kimi Antonelli's car failed, and he parked it on the gravel, and therefore we had to have a safety car for a very long time while the car was recovered, probably too long. And then it was a little bit of bumper cars with Max Verstappen to finish the race. James, pick us up from the restart of the race behind the safety car.
I will do. I would also just say that Barcelona was very interesting this year because of the tyre choices. They went quite soft on tyres for the compounds. And also the weather was quite warm. So the track was very warm and the tyre deg was like a big part of it. Everyone sort of tried to go on a two-stop apart from Verstappen, who had a planned three-stop in place. So the restart really came at a bad time for him because he was on the worst set of tyres possible. He was on hard tyres. He had no other tyres to use. If he had a decent set left, he'd have probably been in a much better chance.
For those that don't know, the hard tyre would have gone longer and degraded less, but has less grip and takes a bit of time to warm up. And then from a restart against soft tyres that have high grip for a short amount of time, that started him off.
Yeah, so that restart, you could see him really trying to work his tyres. And Rosberg was on commentary this week, and he's always, because he's very honest and he's quite obviously very insightful, which I didn't know. You see drivers like left, right, trying to warm up their. Rosberg was like, there's never been anything proven that shows this works. Like, it's more, I think it has to be like a mental thing. There was a famous clip.
The wobbly.
Yeah, the left.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they're all like this. There's a famous clip.
Swinging it from side to side, trying to put some heat into the tyres. He said it's never been scientifically proven that that makes a difference. And there's an iconic image that he referenced as well of everyone doing it going down the main straight, and Kimi Räikkönen, the Iceman, is just driving dead straight down the middle of the road while everyone else is swerving around him. It's a great image.
So yeah, Verstappen's trying to fire up these hard tyres. Everyone else has got softs and mediums in. And a safety car restart, obviously, at the last corner, the leader sort of restarts the race with his own decision to start. He peeled away. Verstappen slammed his foot down. His back end's kicked out on the end. Like he nearly put it in the gravel. He's managed to just keep it on. Leclerc sort of bumped in as he's gone past. And then Russell, in my opinion, at the first corner has pushed Verstappen off the track, which has led to, for some reason, telling him to give the position back, which is meant to prevent you getting a penalty, basically, if you do something wrong.
It was probably a little bit 50-50, and I think the stewards would have said it was a racing incident, especially as it was a first corner after a restart. But yeah, like James said, they got on the radio and they assumed that he was at fault, and they told him, give the position back.
And they've said since that they wouldn't have
Red Bull got it wrong.
made them do it. Yeah.
So Verstappen's already fuming because Leclerc's touched him on the straight and he thinks he's bashed him out. And then Russell's pushed him off track and he's been told to give it back. So he's completely lost his head. Goes to let Russell round and for some reason just decides to swerve into him and they collide. Like they bang their wheels.
Yeah, so he slowed down, gave Russell the outside of the corner to go around him. And then his telemetry apparently showed that he didn't brake. He just drove straight into George Russell's side.
I think he accelerated from the.
Well, it looks like he accelerates because he didn't brake. And George obviously was braking for the corner. Yeah.
Yeah, so red mist has just gone over him. He's just gone straight.
Yeah.
I'm surprised they kept both cars on track. Like going at that pace into that sort of corner, I thought they'd sort of wipe each other out. Verstappen and Russell have some pretty big history as well in the last 12 months. Like they've got into it a few times. But yeah, he's just completely lost his head and the Mad Max term has come out. And I actually think for the first time I've seen him apologise. Like he put out an Instagram post yesterday saying what happened shouldn't have happened. So yeah, The weird thing is, he was just becoming a little bit more likable as well, and he
was, yeah.
just can't. He's a competitor, he's a racer, that's fine, but he just can't accept if he's got to do something he doesn't want to do. He's like, no, I don't care. I'm going to take it out.
It's pure petulance, and it's just really dangerous. Something could have gone badly wrong if other cars are around them as well, puts them at jeopardy too. They're driving cars that don't have a ton of protection. They've got enough if they roll and things like that, but the cars aren't designed to be bumper cars. And a car going into you, tires obviously puncture really easily, go off track, anything can happen. You can catch a wheel underneath you and flip the car. So it's really dangerous. I mean, you bump into someone in the supermarket with your trolley and you give them a little bit of a slam in anger. We've all been there, baby, just me. That's
Ranting in the supermarket.
this is why I'm not allowed to go shopping. In a Formula One car at 130, heading into a 90-degree corner is a very, very different.
I was kind of surprised there wasn't any damage because he hits him hard, doesn't it?
I think he hits him into the wheel, so they
Into
just
the wheel. Yeah, it's a wheel on wheel, isn't it?
Yeah, George did say I've got damage, but I think George would have said that regardless.
Yeah, he was playing the game. They gave him a 10-second penalty.
So what's the deal with that? Because they've basically said it's deliberate, but then only giving him a 10-second penalty for
Yeah, so causing a collision is a 10-second penalty. What you struggle to prove is malicious intent.
Yeah, it's been done before. Michael Schumacher got done for it many years ago with Jacques Villeneuve, and he got disqualified from the entire championship for crashing.
Vettel did it against Hamilton as well in 2014.
In Baku, yeah. But yeah, they could have thrown the bucket in if they'd have been able to prove intent. But
it could have got DQ'd in the race. If they had the telemetry data in race, they probably would have done. It was only retrospectively, but obviously in the race as well, they made the instant decision to give him the 10-point. What they also did do is added 3 penalty points to your license. What you usually get for an incident like that is 1 penalty point on your license. So getting 3 penalty points is quite significant. Are you allowed 11, James?
he's on 11. If he gets 12, he gets a race ban.
Yeah.
Can he do the speed awareness course?
He cannot do the awareness course in this case. I think he's been going too fast. Yeah. Straight to jail, do not pass go sort of job.
You have some sympathy with him in this.
Here we go. This is a hot take. Go on, then.
Well, I just think they put him in a rubbish position. I think his team put him in a moment where they probably knew that he was fuming in a rubbish position. Why would they do it? Are they trying to save face? Is there some tactics involved there?
Because the safety car just been out. If they'd have got a penalty, they'd have dropped to 7th or 8th and lost quite a lot of points. If they just let Russell go by, they'd have lost 2 points. But they didn't expect Verstappen to crash into him, get a 10 seconds and lose all the points. Yeah, you can see why they did it. They messed up. That's on them.
Yeah, you understand him being frustrated, but then you verbalise that over the radio to your engineers. You don't ram one of your rivals with your car.
That's inexplicable.
Could you imagine if you saw the mist when you're driving on the road and you just slam your car into another car? Because that is in essence what has happened.
It is, but we're not in I'm going to speak for myself here and say that I'm highly competitive environment when I'm driving on the road.
Yeah, I just think that the apologising is big for him. That's very unusual. So I think he'll be.
Well, he didn't say I'm sorry. He said it shouldn't have happened. But he could also equally flip that and say what shouldn't have happened is my race engineer telling me to give the position back. So he's still not saying I'm sorry, George, for slamming my car into yours. He's not gone that far in the apology.
You can't really expect him to go that far.
I think he probably knows that's his championship over, which is why he was so annoyed.
So it drops him down to 49 points off.
Yeah, I mean, the problem is the 2 McLarens, whoever qualifies first is going to, because the McLarens aren't actually that great at following behind another McLaren. It's quite hard to overtake one. So they're in a qualifying race. Whoever tends to qualify in front will win the race. And I don't know if you watched qualifying, but Rosberg went through it really well. And he was essentially saying that Lando was just overdriving. He looked so desperate to put it on pole. He was making himself go slower. and Piastri's like cool cucumber, like just doing the right things at the right time. And I think he was like 3/10 quicker in the end, maybe 2.5.
He was incredibly fast.
So yeah, those two are going to have a proper ding dong now between now and the end of the season.
I think it's a bit of a shame. I feel like heading into this season, it was like this could be the most open F1 championship, both for constructors and drivers, for a long time. And it's ended up being another procession.
Yeah, we all thought that Mercedes and Ferrari were going to be more competitive too, didn't we?
Yeah, but they thought this weekend was meant to be readdressing that because they banned all the flexi wing stuff in the technical directives, which McLaren was known to have the best flexi wing, but it probably made them quicker, not slower, because everyone else was trying to do the same thing. So yeah, they're trying to bring the pack back together, but I do think qualifying can be quite competitive. But like Matt said, they just know these tracks so well. They know how to get the best out of these cars. It's going to come down to who has the fastest car. Somewhere like Barcelona. What's next? Canada?
Canada in 2 weeks' time. I watched an interesting clip with Oscar Piastri where they played him the sound of an engine going round a current track from the pit exit. By the end of turn one and into the first straight, he'd already identified what the track was. They just know it so well. He's like, oh, okay, that's a fairly long pit exit, could be the longest. So it's going to be one of two tracks based on what that first corner was. That is this track. And he was right. Which is very impressive. But they know it inside out. They spend so much time in the simulators.
I was going to say, how do they do it? Is it all sims? Is it?
Yeah. Sims, practice, driven there for ages, visualization, all this stuff. But like because he can hear the engine, you'll hear like a pit limiter that makes him only go X amount, and then he'll hear it kick up. Turn what I think it was Bahrain, the clip he's talking about. You hear like a quick succession of gear changes. Like right, yeah, Bahrain. But yeah, imagine these guys have these races and these tracks. They probably have thousands and thousands and thousands of laps on simulators.
But you're right, Joel. Really processional for McLaren. They've already got more than double the points of the second place team. So they're on 362. Ferrari are second on 165, and Mercedes are on 159. And Red Bull, I guess, just Max Verstappen's points are on 144. Yuki Tsunoda. I mean, that second Red Bull.
Oh yeah, I think there's more going on. The qualifying, they said they'd messed his car up quite a lot, hadn't they? They put a weird rear wing on because I think there's some commentary at the end of the qualifying. He's like, done a good lap, and he's dead last. Verstappen even came out and said, look, Tsunoda can drive Formula One cars. It's not him. It has to be the car at this point.
As can Lawson, as can Perez now, apparently. Everything we said about Perez was probably wrong. It's taken several other drivers for us to actually decide that Perez wasn't that bad.
Not sure I agree with that because when Perez was doing it, Verstappen had the best car. And Verstappen has the fourth best car now, third best car, and he's dragging it around by pure talent.
Yeah, it's still Verstappen is obviously the best driver. Yeah. And whatever the fastest or second fastest car would be, Max Verstappen's going to win the championship, but he doesn't have that at the moment.
Yeah, but yeah, Canada coming up. No Lance Stroll for a while. Broken his wrist again, hasn't he?
Yeah, the gossip coming out about that is that he smashed some equipment up in the garage when he went back after qualifying and banged his wrist and his fist up. He's got previous for that. A few years ago, he had a shove and a go at his race engineer when he went back into the garage as well after qualifying too. So yeah.
Well, yeah, after they get a replacement in, they've got a reserve driver that should be good. I just wanted to just put Vettel in it for a race and see what happens.
I think it's oh yes, actually no, this is interesting because they've got Drugovich, but it's Le Mans the same weekend as Montreal, so Drugovich won't be able to race because he'll be racing Le Mans.
He's already said he'd drop out Le Mans to race Formula One car.
Oh, does he? Interesting. Okay.
Because he hasn't made his debut either, so it'll be his first time.
Expect to see Felipe Drugovich then.
Yeah, be cool. I quite like Canada as a track.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, it's a good F1 Montreal.
Although the little Sunday afternoon streak of Formula One has gone because 3 p.m. is a lovely time.
This isn't too late though. This is what 5 p.m. though, or is it 8?
Yeah, no.
5 or 8. It's still quite nice. So if you have enjoyed listening along, if you are still here, the three of you, you can like and subscribe, YouTube and Spotify. getting in touch with us on email at allsportspods@gmail.com. And we will catch you on the next one. Cheers.
Cheers.